Alright, we're here at the famous Condon Bank and First National Bank in Coffeyville, Kansas, where the Dalton gang, back in 1892, they got wiped out. They attempted to rob two banks. This one here, the Condon Bank, and right alongside that building, it's a parking lot now, used to be the First National Bank. They wanted to outdo their cousins, the younger brothers, and rob two banks at once and go down in history. They had ridden into town and were going to tie their horses up on the main street here. Unbeknownst to them, when they got in, the street was under construction and they had to tie their horses down this alley, which I don't know if it's the exact spot of this alley still or not, but this is known as Death Alley, and we'll go down there and look at that in just a minute. There's some outlines of bodies where they were killed trying to make their escape, but they originally came out of this alleyway. 5 of them. 3 of them fell off into the Condon Bank right there. The other 2 went across next to Isham's Hardware, which still stands, as you can see. Alongside of Isham's Hardware was the First National Bank, as I said, and they went in there to rob it. They were recognized because this was really one of their local towns. The citizens knew them. And the citizens were called to arms, ran into Isham's Hardware store and armed themselves. So while the Daltons were in the banks, the citizens were arming themselves and waiting for them. They actually opened fire on them while they were still in the banks and just blew those windows all to heck in that bank right there, in the Condon Bank. The outlaws tried to make their escape. A couple of them went out the back door of the First National Bank, where that parking lot is, in between the 2 buildings there. The other 3 tried to make their getaway right through here. A couple of them died right here on the street. There was tremendous fire directed at them. And several of them made it down this alleyway. A couple of them had escaped through the back door of the bank across behind the Condon Bank, the First National Bank, and went down 8th Street right over there and tried to get to their horses off of 8th Street coming back into this alley. And we're just going to walk the walk here. I'm sure this alley is not in the exact location it used to be. It might be. You just can't tell. Some of these are old buildings. These on each side are new. This is an old building here, obviously. You know, it could be the same location. This is the location of the old city jail, according to the maps. But the Daltons attempted to make their run down through here, and this was open. There were several gaps along this wall here, and you can see they've painted a painting here of what it used to be, a fence there. And these are sheriffs and one of the sheriffs, I believe it was right there. This sheriff was killed as he was shooting at the outlaws, the Daltons trying to get on the horse. And they have little outlines of where they had fell. This is the sheriff here. He was shot in the back as he was shooting at one of the other Daltons down this alley. And I'm not going to specify which Daltons because I'm not real sure. I believe it was Graf Dalton. This should be no, see, that's what I mean. I shouldn't really. This is Bob Dalton, but Graf Dalton actually killed Sheriff Conley, so we'll have to find out where Graf was at. But apparently the main killings happened right here. One of the outlaws actually got on their horse filled full of lead and made it on down the alley and out of town about a half mile, where he was found dead. The tour guide down here, she found another marking. Graf Dalton? Okay, yes. Yeah, Grat Dalton. Fell right here.
I thought they Ubered.
Yeah. So, who knows if this is exact locations, but it's probably within 15 or 20 feet in either direction. So, this is where the Daltons met their demise. They wanted to be famous and outdo the younger brothers by robbing 2 banks at once. But basically they got wiped out. Now, Emmett Dalton, the only one that survived, he was shot 27 times if I recall right, either 23 or 27 times. But I think they're counting the buckshot that hit him. But he lived to be a ripe old age. He served 13 or 14 years in prison, and then he was pardoned and lived to be an old man. And a little plaque there for Conley. Now Conley I believe was the sheriff.